Hi, it's Susan from Worldpeacefull, and I'm just going to read you the poem I wrote this morning. Merry Christmas to everybody. And this is the poem. It's called The Gift of Compliance. I've got in brackets security, or democracy, in brackets freedom. Today is Christmas. It is a celebration of family, a celebration of peace, a time of coming together. It matters not the name or the religion. It is about the universal family coming home together. Jeshua was from the Middle East. He had no religion. He preached love in dark times. He answered the call for help, as love was the answer. Love is not about us or them. It's not about hate. It's not about power and control. It's about allowance and being bold. For to speak up in the global agora is the only platform that makes a difference. And we are here to allow differences to be seen and heard. For we cannot go against nature. We cannot swim against the river. We cannot turn any tide of truth. We can only flow with what is natural, what is easy, what is true. For I am you and you are me. And together we are free. Same but different, the Thais say. Mercy, the Muslims preach. Unconditional love is the Christian mantra. Stillness and non-attachment is the Buddhist way. Staying below or crossing the great stream is the Chinese checkers of wisdom. Deeply listening is indigenous knowing. Belonging to the land is the right order of things. The intranet of things is man-made order. For it is not about information, it is about wisdom. Wisdom is knowledge applied. It is to know you do not know as the starting point. It is the 0 point that is still, awaiting higher perspectives. For in the times ahead we must become wise, not smart. For information without wisdom is manipulating. Data gathering without love is controlling and profiling. Profiting for the sake of personal wealth is a selfish motive without conscience. In a global village where one takes too much, others receive less. Prices rise as wages fall. Jobs disappear as automation rises. For it takes a village to raise a child, not a child centre, but to place the child at the centre. For we are out of balance. We are out of order with our true nature. As to flow with what is natural falls naturally into place, and place is a sense of belonging, for which we are all longing. If you are not happy in what you do, fear has enslaved you. If you are working long hours believing you have no choice, you have forgotten the power of choice. Life is a decision tree. It is a multidimensional possibility. For you cannot know what will happen when you say yes to you. When you say yes to health as wealth. When you say yes to democracy as empathy, sharing power. When you say yes to freedom as self-responsibility. When you say yes to moving out of victim status to find the power of self-determination. For you are powerful beyond what you believe or dream. Your happy destiny is unavoidable. When you give yourself the ultimate present of freedom from fear. For freedom is experienced when you face what you fear. For overcoming fear is to realize there was nothing to fear. It is to look in the mirror, not seeking out defects, but looking for truth in your own eyes. For we are living unconsciously on automatic pilot, responding to what we are taught without critical thought. We are complaining but not living by example, enlightening others. We are not demanding different outcomes as continuous improvement. We are not understanding our world can be different. It can be shape-changed into a sustainable image. We can learn to live where need equals want. We can live in balance as this is holistic. We can learn to live the yin and the yang of life as life is dynamic change. But we must move fast as the ecological limits are dominoes and tipping points are breached. The ice caps are melting. The bushfires are out of control. We are witnessing the hottest and coldest days on record as nature is mirroring us out of balance. The economic juggernaut of endless growth is an impossible staircase that no one can climb. It is to stop climbing and sit down to consider the view. For rooms with a view can see the big picture. Resources are finite. The Internet of Things may appear infinite, but it is not a solid state in equilibrium. You must educate yourself out of ignorance. You must put in the hard work to understand the way of the world. For our systems are driven by greed as motivation, not natural selection. Our assets are transferred into private hands without referendum or vote. Our human rights are transferred to property rights as the right of passage to power. As human rights are decoupled from trade, as Clinton did say. For property is power paid for by rents and smart sales. The money supply is owned by the king of coins. The laws mean nothing to those who own the Queen's Counsel in the courts of the king. For the world is man-made in their image of control as power projected, not freedom from fear elected. Indifference is the greatest disruption. Indifference is the greatest disruption, for it is pathological in cooperation. It is a mental health issue that is the silent weapon that needs no war. For people are useful only when productive. Useless eaters have nothing of value to give. As your value is an economic commodity, not a God-given natural birthright. Your education serves the system, not your natural talent given in abundance. For we are locked into profit maximisation, not gross national happiness. This has been the national priority of the few. And this puts the cart before the horse. For happiness was the objective of economics. Fair resource allocation was to balance optimal price settings. Preferences were choices. Choices reflected demand, in brackets needs and wants. Market signals determined consumer demand and business supply, so that resources are allocated according to natural need, not manipulated greed. But market power took the bull by the horns to force economic growth. Fixing markets via power, privileged education, collegial relationships with power brokers, printing money or quantitative easing, indebting nations, as debt is the power chip that leverages buyouts. This became the freedom from want of the few over the many. This was the game changer where the rules are changed to benefit the few. Designing the game in their image. The fairness doctrine was removed to weight the game so the house always wins. Glass-Steagall turned a stable market into a speculative casino. The roulette wheel spins to settle on numbers where markets rise or fall. Arbitrage speculates on currency fluctuations. As currency is bought and sold, changing the economic futures of millions. As currencies appreciate, go up in brackets, exports become expensive. As currencies depreciate, go down, then exports are cheaper. The casino owners impact demand and supply. Multinational power impacts demand and supply. Controlling supply and cross-subsidising marketing channels. Acquiring channel supply chain businesses cheaper. Those smaller have higher prices, lose market share and collapse. As a small to medium business cannot compete with automation, online and market power. They cannot compete with globalised buyer power. So the playing field is not a fairness doctrine. The chips are weighted in favour of the big end of town. The weigh scales of justice tip towards the few over the many. 1% control 40% of the world's wealth. Is not a Christmas present many want to open. But this is happening in the present with impunity, with immunity, as judges can be handpicked, cherry-picking ideologically speaking, as money talks. The Club of Rome is empire state building, ethics walk. As truth-telling is a dangerous business, people go missing in action. In silent wars, as cowards keep their hands and faces below the table. Whistleblowers are the heroes placing public interest before their own safety. As totalitarianism is not peace for the many, it offers piecemeals, as the left hand doesn't know what the right hand is doing. It is a zero-sum game where there are no winners in the end, as we are one family. And the family falls apart, so does the global networks. For who can you trust if values fall to the wayside, weighted in favour of money, not love? For love was always the answer to humanity's dilemmas. But who can love the unlovable? Who can love the poorest of the poor? Who can be the first to open the door to desperation? Who will cast the first stone in judgment? For what you do to another returns to the self as a universal law. And this is the highest law where there is no judge. No court in the land has any power without allegiance to the highest law. For this is not a court but a natural response to imbalance that does not listen to reasoned arguments, debate, or sleight of hand. There is no punishment or hell, only what humans do to each other and then blame God. There is only a recalibration and redistribution, a rebalancing point, sensitive to change, as nature rules, okay? And no matter the UN or consultant reports, no matter the climate conferences seeking to reach the summit, no matter the rhetoric or government planning, no one can control the climate of great change. For we are at a tipping point. As we tip into 2020, we need a new vision, crystal clear clarity, which will make visible the disruption. For it is not about Silicon Valley, but the real disruption as totalitarianism becomes visible in the spectrum. The laws are changed. The smart technologies roll out as labour saving. Yet they are labour replacing, as they are about saying yes, as there is no no. Tick the terms and conditions whether you understand or not. Access is denied when you say no. As the world divides into compliance and non-compliance, the velvet gloves of democracy come off to reveal the iron fist. A police state of play asserts compliance as homeland security. Yet democracy asserts choice, asserts the will of we the people. As without consent there is no power. And this is the clash that is occurring, outlining a renewable world map. Hong Kong is the front line confronting lines of control. It is not reported in the media as the system syntax error. As information is managed, not delivered to inform and empower the public. Digital TV is modelled as a viewer's digest of distraction, not empowered to enlighten real change. For control is not love. War is not peace. And to love means you cannot control what is uncontrollable. For the two are mutually exclusive. As if two worlds colliding, a loveless reality is to learn compliance, is to do as you're told. Not democracy where you get to choose again. To be bold is to say it like it is. A democratic environment is to learn to speak up and not become enslaved by fear. Beyond this conflicted duality is the new reality of realization that we are one, that what I see in my world is a reflection of myself. How is this possible? We are the one love, the one family, the one intelligence, remembering home is where the heart is. For you are never alone on this journey. Remember, all for one and one for all, as the future is waiting on your welcome. One brought this message 2,000 years ago. He was crucified for challenging religious power. He turned over the tables to reveal the money changers, not as a violent act, but to awaken them to usury as greed. For debt is the seed planted for enslavement. They would not listen to conscience or reason. Disruption was the awakening bell. For as the bell tolls, many will awaken to truth as visibility, corruption as deception, power as control, not leadership, love as the answer, and who we really are. When we stop thinking and worrying, for to become still is to deeply listen, as silence speaks. The moment is now. To resolve conflict is to realise mercy is forgiveness. To learn non-attachment to material things is to realise freedom from want. For this is the gap unfulfilled that keeps on wanting, believing in not enough or scarcity. The Internet of Things is to learn objectivization, not warm relationship in the real world. For the cyber world is a fake world constructed to profit the few, gathering data from the many as the new gold standard, where regulation and privacy stems the flow of trillion-dollar profits. The real world is to realise the truth that you are love, you are loved, you are lovable. Love is the real world calling you silently home to the heart of happiness. Happiness is to know who you are and live your dreams. For we live in infinite possibilities in every moment. Did you know we can attract what we desire as abundance? We are the hero we are waiting for. We can be the change we wish to see. For it is to be who you really are which matters. As nature must live in accordance with its own nature patterns, and nature is calling all back into balance by disrupting business as usual. Homeostasis is the real sustainability returning to 0 point. Homeostasis or harmony is to balance want with real needs, is to balance greed with natural desire, is to balance family peace with work-life balance, is to balance health with well-being, is to balance unlimited resources with natural limits, is to understand the real wealth is the gold in freedom from fear. For nature was always freed for all, and freedom provides choice, as this is the gift that was given humanity at 1 minute to midnight. Have you received the gift in humility? For what you give away returns in unity. As you live abundance, you will never be left wanting. And this is the secret garden that has been revealed for your flower. It is the sacred seal that is opening now. For Christ was given to the masses. It is the consciousness of love that has been given as an example of how you can flower. It has no religion, shape, form, or creed. There is no us or them. It is formless and shape changes into whatever you desire, as love has no limits or constraints. Love was always free. Love is always free. Can you see? Can you be? Can you be me? For Christ was given to the masses. It is the consciousness of love that has been given as an example of how you can flower. There is no us or them. It is formless. It has no limit. Love is always free for all. Love empowers great change without preference, as nature merely responds to signals as desires. What signals are you sending nature? For this will be the future blueprint beyond 2020. Be wise as serpents, they say. It is wisdom that will pay as you sit on the mountain view. To review how far we have come. For over the horizon is a new beginning. It is a global reset or disruption of profound proportions, recalibrating the promise, which is not about land. It is about forgiveness of debt burdens. It is to turn the tables on the money changes. It is to wipe the accounting slate clean, to remove the log out of your own eye to clearly see. For as you judge, you are judged. As you divide, you are divided. As you love, you are loved. As you give, you are abundant. For you are the creator of your reality, empowered to choose, not lose. So what reality do you choose? What do you envisage for your children? Compliance, security, or democracy as freedom? Free dominion is that you are free. We all get to choose again. So that was a 23-minute poem. And I did lose my spot there for a moment, but I improvised. I was letting the great mystery fill in the gaps. I hope you enjoyed that. I will post the poem at the bottom of this video so that you can actually read it through. It was inspired this morning, Christmas morning, and it is my Christmas present to you. It is the truth that sets us free, and love indeed is the answer. There probably is no question in truth. So with that, I send you love and peace, and your happy destiny is unavoidable. Thanks for watching and listening. Bye.